Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Boomer 11 Live. Here we are after the first test match. When we joined you on day two, India were well on top and they were almost on the cusp of victory. But things have changed 48 hours later, or rather, it's 72 hours later, where India have defeated a crushing defeat, I'd like to say. So I won't even say the margin should be considered as a defeat because it's the first time in history in India where India have gotten 100 runs plus lead. India have gotten 190 runs plus lead and lost it. It is fourth in the all-time history to have the most number of lead and to have lost a game. So India have written history by losing to an England team by conceding 430 runs. And to add to all that, it was some excellent display and character by England as well. I think we should appreciate that as much as we want to talk about it. It was a good day for Test cricket because on the other end of the spectrum, you saw Shamar Joseph, a young 24-year-old man from the Caribbean islands, set history in Australia with a broken foot. I mean, what beautiful day for Test cricket. If you really enjoy the game, not being passionate about any team, or if you don't have any bias for any team, you had a fantastic day. The morning started off like that. I think West Indies win has really helped India to at least cover up their loss because everybody was talking about West Indies, and they like to thank it. Otherwise, the talk of the day would have been England. Though England won, but the talk of the day is still Shamar Joseph. So that's how India's face is saved. I can't use the other term, but India's faces are saved. But yeah, either ways, we are here with Jaren and Sandeepani. I'll get to Jaren first up and then I'll come to Sandeepani. What a beautiful day for Test cricket, right, Jaren? I mean, you just saw the ebbs and flows of that beautiful 4-day Test match. I mean, if you really wanted Test cricket to be alive, and these are the kind of games which make Test cricket alive.
Yeah, I mean, I know people are saying that baseball and other factors really helped India. Helped India lose after a long time at home. But I think, frankly speaking, it's because we did not come after the second day. The moment we stopped doing our lives, Indian players were not having that interest to really continue and that courage that we give every day after coming live. Sorry, Indian players. I know you're watching. Obviously, you're watching. We're just sorry we couldn't come up and do the lives, but for sure, second test match we'll try to keep up every day just to protect you all from baseball. Also talking about faces being saved, I have to say that I mean Shamar Joseph, what a story. Here I am, a 24-year-old doing live on a 24-year-old who's probably at the top of the world at this point in time, and just great to see. Makes you feel really good about yourself. I mean, but then even then, you have to really appreciate the courage that he showed. The fact that a broken-footed West Indian fast bowler destroyed Australia, one of the best test teams in the world at this point in time. And you did say, Abel, if you don't have bias, you probably had a great day. But I think it was a beautiful day to be an English fan. You won in a country that people expected you to not to win, and then your arch rivals lost in that one stadium they don't like losing in. So, what a beautiful day to be an English cricket fan.
Yeah, beautifully. But before we get into it, I just want to tell you all Jaren is celebrating his 24th birthday today. So if this video gets 500 likes and 2000 views plus, Jaren will be dancing and cutting the cake live on this stream. That's what it is. That's what Jaren has worked to do. So
You
500
know what?
likes is the target. Wish Jaren a happy birthday on the chat as well. So everybody who's in the stream right now, wish Jaren happy birthday and 500 likes and 2000 views. Jaren will be doing a dance and he'll cut his cake live on the stream.
That is a very,
That
very
is what.
steep task. I think we should
No,
reduce
I
the
think
number
I,
of.
I think I'm fine, Sandhimani. Yeah, I think I like the odds. It's fine. I'll do
Yeah,
it.
I
it's
think the
also
odds of that
promotion, guys.
happening is probably England winning the second test as well.
Yeah,
Whoa!
I'm not
You
saying
never know,
I'm predicting the
Sandhimani.
series England 5-0 and Rohit Sharma to be sacked as captain at the end of the day. And Rohit Sharma be like, I'm a T20 captain or a test captain. I was forced to make the test captain, blah, 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 blah.
Guys,
But to
as a
be
Virat
very
Kohli
honest, I
fan,
have one name for Rohit Sharma's captaincy: shambolic and disgraceful. It just looked like he was not supposed to be the captain. He was forcefully made to captain the team India. It was just disgraceful performance. Trust me, I've seen multiple captains like Dhoni going on a bad phase. Who else? I can pinpoint KL Rahul, as me and Jen was having a discussion, have a bad day one of those times in South Africa. But I've never seen a captain on multiple occasions show disinterest in captaining, right? Where he looked like dead. He didn't look like
I
he
mean,
was
you are forgetting,
meant to be
Abel, that he
captain.
still did a way better job than Sarfaraz Khan in that match against India. At least he didn't yawn.
Surface Ahmed, yeah.
Sarfaraz
That's one
Ahmed,
way to
yeah.
look at it.
The wrong
But
Sarfaraz.
On the contrast, on left new hairstyle and on right no hair. I like it. I like it. It's cute. But either ways, we experiment with our hair because Indian team is not experimenting at all on the field. So something is exciting. Sanima, I'll come to
Yeah.
you. We were here, Sanimani. We were talking about how England were timid in the first innings, but they all proved us wrong. The way in which they approach the second innings was incredible. But before that, let's talk about that first innings from India, right? You think they were at least 70 runs short because the last four wickets, three wickets fell for 15 runs, where India could have possibly had 60 more runs, where two batters were and set. And let's not forget the chances with Rohit Sharma missed by playing that Hoik, Yashasvi Jaiswal, for that matter, even Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul, all giving away their wickets, taking the aerial route, where those runs could have been capitalized and that could have been a 600 kind of a score, and England could have been possibly batted out of the game.
Yeah, definitely. From the looks of it, on the hindsight, you would ponder whether the batters going after the bowling. I still feel second day was the best day to bat on, and probably third day as well. England did get. I mean, the conditions were still suitable for batting. But I think it was a missed opportunity on Gill's part, on KL Rahul's part, on almost all the top order batsmen. I think they just gave away their wickets apart from KS Bharat. I think Bharat was undone by the low or the uneven bounce in the first innings. So apart from that, I think all the wickets we just gave it away, and even the last three wickets fell for just 15, like you mentioned. The next day, 15 runs, three wickets, and I think that is where we lost the game because England was still struggling at 163 for five when Ben Stokes got out, and then you had the likes of Folks, Hartley, Rehan Ahmed coming in, chipping in, and then I mean they had a brilliant partnership with Ollie Pope. All of them hung around there, and I think they combined. They added some 240, 250 runs for the three wickets, and that is just something that India hadn't seen in a long time. When have you seen the foreign or the opponent tailenders are coming in and scoring in excess of 200 runs? And I think Ollie Pope played one of a kind innings, and I
Yeah.
think yeah, you're calling it a disgraceful captaincy. I will agree to it, but I still feel that some of the Indian bowlers were taken aback as well. I mean, they did not expect them to. I mean, England at a trail of 190 to come in and then play the kind of shots that they were playing. Yeah, baseball and all, everything is fine, but I still feel some of the senior players, I mean Jadeja and Ashwin with the ball, could have done a better job. Better was expected of them under these circumstances. But I still feel where we lost the game was that not brief period, but two sessions from the end of day three till the morning of day four. Last session of day three and the first session of day four, where India completely, I think
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
what I'm
shoulders
saying.
dropped.
That India could have tried a lot more. I mean, what I felt was strategically we were very off. Tactically, it
Yeah.
just looked like Rohit Sharma had no other second plans for
No,
reverse sweeps.
I mean I'll just add to it. I mean we spoke about India not making use of the track with the bat, giving away their wickets cheaply, and I think the tactics or the attacking or the aggressive display or the intent that they were showing, I think that would have been more suitable if the pitch was worse than what it was, because I don't feel that it was so bad to bat on that you had to go on and employ all kinds of, I mean, go in an ultra aggressive mode and give away your wicket. Yashasvi Jaiswal playing in that way makes sense. Rohit Sharma up till a certain point of time playing that way makes sense. But the likes of KL Rahul, Shubman Gill getting themselves in and playing a stroke that they wouldn't play even in ODIs. When have you seen KL Rahul go after the bowling in 30th or 35th over if he's batting even in the ODIs? He reluctantly goes after the bowling even in T20s, and he was playing all those type of shots in test matches, especially when there were fielders on the deep. So yeah, I mean, great innings from KL Rahul and Jadeja 85, 86 runs, but I think it could have been a
Yeah, I mean,
150,
it's a
160.
combination of the first innings and India's bowling, which led to India's. But I'll come to Jaren now. Jaren, we have to talk about that second innings tactic from India, right? Where India kept no plans for Oli Pope when he kept sweeping and reverse sweeping you. I can understand if it's one session, but you let that happen for a longer period of time. And Rohit Sharma also went extremely defensive, where he looked like, let things happen. And that's such a bad thing to have in a test match, right? You cannot be reactive, rather, you should be proactive in test cricket. And that's why If you look at the greatest of captains, right, they've all been proactive captains. That's also because that's a trait where you are predicting what might happen. That's a trait also where you're involved in the game, where you don't let things happen. You can do that in a T20 or a one-day game. Now, one of the biggest issue with Mahendra Singh Dhoni as a Test captain was the same exact issue, which where he was reactive and not proactive. I mean, this might work in the white ball form of the game, but in Test matches, you have to be proactive. You have to bring in strategies. You have to keep yourself and the team at check at all point. And Rohit Sharma looked like he was sleeping in the field.
Absolutely. I mean, you'd have to say that it will. That's precisely the point. I also felt. I feel like we've spoken about this before as well about how Dhoni has always been a Dhoni and Rohit Sharma both. I think no, I wouldn't really say that they come under the same. I mean, they do. They can be put in the same mold. At least you feel like a lot of fans do that. And the thing about one day cricket, a white ball format is bowling as an art is a defensive form of art in those formats, where the idea is you try and restrict the batters from scoring, and then at the end of the day you hope that makes the batter forces the batter, because the batter is the one who has to force the issue there. But in case of Test cricket, the batter is the one who can rest and maybe react a lot more compared to the bowling, because batters are playing for time. I know baseball, that's not the idea of baseball for sure, but at the end of the day, batters are playing for time, and as bowling unit, your idea is to ensure that the opposition does not get the time that they're looking for, and that's where I felt you couldn't restrict. You neither could restrict the scoring areas for Oli Pop, and neither could you really make. Basically, you didn't make him sweat. And when I mean the idea of baseball is to make the opposition sweat, and Indian bowlers were finally given or probably the Indian team were finally given the end of the rougher end of the stick for the first time at home. I felt like this could have been way worse if England hadn't been more tentative in the first innings, because England, I felt, forgot how to play baseball in the first innings.
Yeah.
It's almost like they came to India and the sun was so harsh that in that heat they completely forgot what they had planned. But they remembered it after a night, after a couple of days on the field, and once they came back to it, it just same again. They had no other answers. But yeah, this is not the kind of pitch that you probably have seen in India for the past few years. It's always been a lot more spicy, a lot more difficult to play, and that's the reason why I felt that's where able. I still wouldn't blame the bowlers as much as I would blame the batting, because 136 runs
it
to win.
was a slow pitch, so where even if the ball turned,
Yeah, exactly.
you could adjust to it.
I remember there was a graphic that was shown at the start of the third day, rather at the start of the fourth day, where they showed that between the second day and the third day, the ball had slowed down, or it was rather taking, I think, 0.5 meters more at the same time to reach the batter. Where as in it was a lot more slower than most other times, and it's much more difficult to play spin when it is quicker and bouncier. There was neither bounce nor there was space, so which obviously meant batters could rest on the back foot, take their time. I know there were a few odd balls which were keeping low, but that aggressive option was still available, and I just felt, especially with the new ball, we were very defensive. And
Yeah.
I think what England really did well is, they made sure at the start of the session and at the end of the session, start of the session when the ballers aren't settled, and end of the session when the ballers are tired, they made sure that they took the aggressive route. And maybe in the middle of the session, once they felt like they were in the driver's seat, they started dictating the terms.
Yeah.
So I still will not blame the bowling as much, because baseball has made worse Mickeys out of better bowling lineups, and India is one of the better ones out there. But we've seen really seasoned players not being
Yeah.
able to counter it, and that's where I felt 136 to win, 10 wickets in hand, 97 for three. India were too defensive, and
Yeah.
we did not do enough. We did not show enough intent. We did not seem like a team that was trying to win a test match. We seemed like a team that was trying to draw a test match on day 5.
Yeah, good point. Kapil says it's high time Gill and Iyer should be sacked from the Test side, and Rohit should be removed from Test captain format like Virat. Make Virat. I don't think Virat is going to be captain anytime soon. Seems like Rohit is real. Yeah, very much. It is real. Abel with the hairstyle, so cute, and Jared with the hair really suits you. It's cute. I wish Jared happy birthday, guys. That's what I'd say. It's his birthday today. Once again, reminding you all. Just want to put up that if this video gets 500 likes and 2,000 plus views, Jared is gonna dance and cut the cake. So that's how it is.
Either or. Either
Either or, yeah.
500 likes or 2000 views.
Whoa. Sandeep Malik, come on. What the hell?
Okay, Rohit Sharma's face is unbearable when it doesn't go to plan. Can't look at his face when the ball goes to the boundary. Terrible. Exactly, Tejo. I agree with you. I'm totally in agreement with what you mentioned because I have felt that multiple times. That's what's been very disgraceful about that captaincy. It's rare that a team goes 190. So I'll show you a very interesting stat. We've hit history, is what I mentioned. So we've seriously hit history. If you look at some of the highest lead to lose a home test, we are number 5 on the list, where we are behind South Africa and Sri Lanka and Australia. So it's pretty such an awful record to have. In the last 2 decades, you have to say this is one of the worst defeats in history of cricket. And this is as bad as a
Not
Eden
just
Gardens
last 2 decades,
penalty.
I think over 3 decades, because that South Africa versus England game, if I think it's given over there. England declared
Months of
for zero.
2015, Sri Lanka. I think Dinesh Chandimal, that test match, I'll tell you, very similar. Yes, very similar to what happened. We had a great lead. Then Dinesh Chandimal scored a brilliant 100. We had a target of 175 to chase. And that still I'll give a leeway because we went on to win the series away from home. First time in Sri Lanka, 21 years. But that also was a master act of choking from India. Virat Kohli's first ever full-time series, that was also very poor. I remember that, but we went on to win the series after that. So that's the only, and that was away from
No, I
home.
think
But
we'll
at
will
home,
still go on to win the series this time around as well, because this is a very inexperienced England side. But that is not the point. I think India, the way they played, I think they were very casual from the third day onwards, and that sort of casual attitude is what I mean. We have made history. 190 runs. We never lost. India had never lost a game having a lead in excess of 100 runs in home
Yeah.
at home, and we lost with a lead of 190. That is almost a follow on. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how India is going to come back from this, but as often we have seen, India are definitely going to come back from this strongly enough to go ahead and win the series. But this is something that needs to be taken into consideration, because
I would be
Kohli will
surprised if
not be
India
available
goes
for
2
another
nil
test.
down and makes a comeback from there. It could be a 2-all series as well because what's going to happen is Dharamshala is not going to be that easy a venue for India against baseball.
True. And yeah, I mean, that's a very good point, because 2-0 is something that can be on the cards because Kohli is not back for another game.
KL
And
Rahul is out, Jadeja is out.
Yeah.
yeah, KL
Yeah.
Rahul out, Jadeja out, and I think that means Kuldeep Yadav is going to come back, come in place of Jadeja,
Yeah.
and KL Rahul I think is going to be a big miss, because then now we'll have to find uh, at least somebody. I mean, I don't know whether Dhruv Jurel will come in. I
I
don't
think
want
I
a
think
proper batter.
Sarfraz or Rajat Patel. But we have got some birthday wishes for Jaren. Happy birthday, Jaren. What Teju says, Kapil says, Elizabeth
thank
says,
you guys.
Priyanka
Thank you.
says. Uh, so
Ask for the
somehow
treat as
Dravid
well.
captaincy is happening again in his coaching tenure. Trust me, Dravid as a coach ranks the worst coach of last 2 decades. He's on level terms with Greg Chappell. There is no reason why his World Cup final run should be a wheel for him to get away with some tactical blunders he's made as a coach. And for me,
No, but I
Rohit
think
Sharma
with
and
Greg
Rahul Dravid
Chappell, the
coming
problem was Greg Chappell was against a particular player in the team. Dravid is against the entire team. I don't know. He's not gelling with the team or something.
Yeah, I
I mean,
don't think
everything
Rahul
looks.
Dravid's coaching tenure at Paras Mamre. Again, Paras Mamre is a guy who's getting away time and time again. I'm calling him out again. I called him out in South Africa. You should resign, please, Mr. Paras Mamre. Listen to me, resign, sit at home. And Vikram Rathore, I've been repeating this again. Resign, sit at home, not good for anything. Rahul Dravid, legend of the game. But as an Indian coach, absolute failure. Rohit Sharma, disgraceful. Calling them out one by one by one. Because I really want to call them out because they've been disgraceful. And to be very fair, this is a very honest platform. We're not going to sit here and support fan bases and be neutral, and we're not going to be politically right. That's something
I
which
mean,
we
you
don't
do
do.
sound like a Virat Kohli fan base. You
No,
also are an
I've just called a
RCB
Virat Kohli
supporter.
shite test match.
Uh, and
Virat Kohli did choke in 2015 in that Sri Lankan test match. That was disgraceful captaincy from him. To let Sri Lanka to have that lead from
see,
where
I
we
mean,
were in the pitch, that was
just
disgraceful.
to be the devil's advocate, Rohit Sharma has never lost a test series. So, yeah,
Test series?
he's never
Oh
lost
I
a
mean, you
test
wow!
don't
series.
have enough.
He's already lost the
Data
WTC
points to
final. How many
consider
test
that.
series has he
Keep into
captained India in?
consideration.
So
Yeah.
interestingly, that's where you can maybe get away with. But if he loses the test series, he's getting out. His captaincy is very questionable, Jared. I mean, it's okay you lose
Yeah.
a test series after showing intent and capability, but if you're going to lose test matches like this time and time again, nowadays more than test series, every test match counts. We're
But
number
I
six
feel,
in the
but I feel England as well. Ben Stokes. I know now he'll take all the credit. Everything will, everybody will be all praises for Ben Stokes. I think yeah, he really improved in the second innings,
yeah.
in terms of some of the field settings. But first innings, England with the ball, first innings was really questionable from Ben Stokes as well. I mean, you can give him one
But
inning to
it's
settle down.
okay. I mean, that's been Ben Stokes' biggest strength. He learns, adapts very quickly. He's out of the box,
But
and he
that's
keeps
an
back in.
interesting thing. Yeah, I mean, we did sit here, we criticized him for giving the ball to Tom Hartley,
Yeah.
allowing him to continue, even though he was getting, railed left and right. He was getting
That was
thrashed.
a bad move in the
Uh,
first innings. Trust me.
and
That's
That
we
was a
all
bad
argue, but
move.
then,
that was a bad
now
move.
that it was revealed to us at the end of the second day where Jack Leach had the knee issue, so it makes sense why he was not given the
Yeah,
new ball.
but either ways,
And then
to be very
obviously Tom
fair,
Hartley is the same guy who came in and saved you that match. I mean, he won you that match.
but
So
yeah,
now you can
that's the
argue
second
that.
No,
innings.
but
To be very
you can
honest,
argue with
with,
why
yeah,
was
those are
Joe
two
not
No,
different
but
things,
introduced in the
Darren. I
first
mean,
innings
what I'm
earlier?
saying in defense of Ben Stokes is you can argue that the fact that the cap, see, when you have a debutant player, when you are new to the gang, you have to make sure that the person feels welcome. And
I mean,
Ben
Darren,
Stokes
you know
did make
what?
him feel welcome.
I understand that, but the lead could have been a 120 if that move was not made by
Yeah.
Ben
Of
Stokes.
course, of
That's what I'm
course,
trying to
yeah.
say. Though they went on to win the test match, yes, well and good, but they could have been much better when it comes to offense. At
And
least they
as
could have
I
been the
said,
Joe
I
Root.
think you
If Joe
can't
Root was the
compare
one who's
two
got about
innings.
40 overs in a game.
I think something similar happened to Jack Leach as well in his first to 2021. Was hammered by Rishabh Pant all across
Yeah.
the place in the first innings. Came back, won England the game in the second innings with a 5-4. So
But
I
can
mean, it
we
was a
do
similar sort of
what
performance from
happened
Hartley.
in 2021 once again is a question because here it looks like England are much better. Not just that Akshar Patel, that threat is not as big because Akshar Patel's balls were played in the back foot. It's very tough to play Akshar Patel off the back foot because of the pace, but he was played off the back foot multiple times. And that's why I think bringing Kuldeep Yadav isn't a bad idea. Let's look at the squad, right? The updated squad for the next two test matches. Let's look ahead now. The updated squad is here. So we'll talk about the wicket keeping option as well. Before that, we'll take some questions. KL Jadeja, I see Padejar coming in. The way Shastri got trolled. Shastri might have gotten trolled in India, but he's hailed as a hero in Australia. If you remember his commentary tenure, he was hailed as the only coach in the last two decades to
And
come
even
and
in
win.
the recently concluded the
Yeah,
BCCI awards, the Indian awards, I think
yeah,
Sastry's told. I
deservingly.
mean,
I loved it when
yeah,
he mentioned his peak moment was the Gaba Test match,
yeah,
obviously.
exactly.
But
Oh, I
I'm
think for
talking
me,
about
the
you
favorite
could have
line.
mentioned even the 1983 World Cup or 1985 Champions of Champions series. But Gaba to be on top of all that, kudos to him.
I mean, my favorite line was when he said that play fair, play within the rules, spirit and spirits after the game.
Typical Ravi Shastri. I mean, that's what we miss, man. We need a
Yeah.
motivator in the dressing room. You don't need a
किस
technically
भाड़
correct
में
coach.
जाए हमको चाहिए 20 विकेट which
Ah,
India did
to be
not.
very honest,
Yeah.
I remember what Parthiv Patel told. Parthiv Patel is not technically very sound. I remember this Joburg test match when he told Parthiv Patel, Rabada ko kabada kar de. Ja ke beat. 25, 30 run knock. That was so crucial in the context of the test match, if you look. So that's what Ravi Shastri brings, right? He can make you feel like you're the best in the world. And if you look a lot of these
And there
players,
are
if you remember,
lots of people for the technicalities. We have a batting coach. We have so many coaches,
there's
so
so
many
many. I
technical
don't
staff.
think Rahul Dravid, the technically correct man, is needed for this team. We need a motivator. We need a coach who can come and say, "Hey, okay, Sakar." That's exactly what happened in 2021
Ashish
in
Nehra
Australia.
for the next coach.
Yeah, not a
Yes.
bad idea actually. I
Not a
wouldn't
bad
mind
idea.
Ashish Nehra for the next coach. I am vouching for it. But Rahul Dravid, please step down. I don't want to see another ICC trophy where same tactical mistakes and I know what's on the card. So it's like you know the
Yeah, I
story,
think
but you're
people
watching
should
it
keep
for the
very
sake
very
of it.
low expectations from this Indian team when
Yeah.
they're going for the T20 World Cup,
Yeah, I
because
mean, see,
anyway
the issue
T20 is
is,
unpredictable.
I think with Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma both, they're very good when it comes to planning. And I think we've seen many a times India does their homework and they end up showing there and they do a very good job on most days. But I
Plan
just feel
B,
the amount
no
of
plan
time they
B.
spend, yeah, the amount of time they spend on plan A, they don't really have time for plan B and
Plan
C.
B,
But
exactly.
and international cricket, everyone is ready. Everyone knows precisely what you have. See, we speak about how every batter, every bowler is analyzed. You have to also realize that the same batter and bowler also sits with the analyst. They already know their
Yeah.
weaknesses. So
Yeah,
it's not like you can
exactly.
try
And
the
then
same thing
I'll just
again
take
and
a
again.
point. Now we're talking about Ravi Shastri. the series comes out, right? That GABA, that whole Australia tour and everything, and even players anecdotes and the stories come out. Just looking at how tactically astute Ravi Shastri was, he might look like a motivator, but his broadcast experience has really helped him to be tactically very astute. So bringing in Ashwin in Melbourne in the first 5 overs, on a pitch which had a little bit of moisture, really worked the trick for us. That really set the tone for the series. That was Ravi Shastri's call. Sending in Rishabh Pant at number 5 in Sydney was Ravi Shastri's call. Sending in Rishabh Pant in Gabba at number 5 was Ravi Shastri's call. So these things turn cricket forever. And that's what I'm trying to talk about, right? Once and for all, certain decisions coaches are supposed to make. Your captains do make decisions, but I feel somewhere down the line, Rahul Dravid's tactical astuteness has gone missing. I thought as a captain, when he used to captain, tactically he was very sound. I think 2006 when we won that series in Pakistan, he was a captain if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Rahul
yeah.
Dravid was a captain, so I don't know what happened to him, the captain Rahul Dravid, but he's coaching wise, even against for Rajasthan Royals, they were bottling almost every season as a coach, if you
Daily
know. So
captains as well.
Yeah.
yeah, as captaincy as well. Let's look at the squad once again as we were talking about. So the new players were added is finally the man is in the squad. Let's stop the count. The man, the myth, the legend, Sarfaraz Khan is in the team. India guys, today is such a big day to honor Jaren's birthday. They have been like Sarfaraz ko add hi karte hain. You remember Jaren has done a full-on interview with Sarfaraz. Watch it
Yeah,
on
actually,
YouTube right now.
great guy. I mean,
I
I'm
texted the
happy
guy
that
today. Very, very,
yeah,
very sweet response. He is very emotional. Very nice guy. Is averaging 70 in first class cricket, 1400s more than his 50s. His conversion rate is amazing. Average is 70. Indian Bradman is on show from Vishakhapatnam. What do you guys think? Sandeepani, what do you think about this inclusion?
I
Sarfraz
think
Khan
straight
straight
into
in
the
the
team
11?
at number 4 for the next one, and then
Yeah.
moves into number 3 when Kohli is back.
No, I don't think he's a
Gill moves
number
out.
3 batter. Don't do that.
nah,
He's a number
nah,
5 batter. Don't do that.
nah.
Don't do
But
that.
then once Kohli comes in, he'll have to find a replacement for
Everyone is
Gill
I'd
again.
have
saying
I
Virat
don't
this.
Kohli
see.
at number 3 in Test cricket. If Steve Smith can open the batting now, why not Virat Kohli at 3?
Yeah, I think he Kohli has come at a certain point at number 3 as well.
Yeah, the West Indies series in
Yeah,
2016. He tried.
yes, I think if the team requires it, and because you have to consider that now you'll have to choose Kapil or Teju, somebody mentioned that both Shreyas Iyer and Shubman Gill needs to be shown the door, and since
Yeah,
KL Rahul is going to miss the first one, the next one we'll have to play both Shreyas Iyer and
yeah,
Shubman Gill. I think that will be the last chance, the next test. So
yeah.
in the next one you can see Sarfaraz
But
Khan
my
coming straight
question
away at
is,
number 4.
Sandeepani, you have Rajat Patidar also. Like I think Teju mentioned all earlier, and
But
Jaren asked you
honestly,
the
I think
Yeah,
question.
Rajat Patidar deserves a place in this Indian team in the ODI format. I think he's a better fit for the ODI format. I
But
think
if you look at
across.
his recent form, you're just talking about form, right? Form is about any format. I mean, I think if a player is in good form, you can translate into formats as well because the confidence is what form is,
But then
and you
Sarfaraz
will
Khan is
definitely.
that player who has, like you showed, the average of close
I
to
mean, both
70. I know
Rajat
recent
and
form.
Sarfraz has. So I don't think
Yeah.
two debutants is not a bad option at number 3 and number 4 or either ways.
Then
Sarfraz
then
at
then I
4,
then I feel then you can
Rajat
show
at
Gill the
3.
door straight away. But I think the management is going to stick with Gill
You
for one
have
more game.
to show Gill the door because if you look at Gill's performance, he's a burden right now. He's not going to go out there and score a set. He might. I mean, anything is possible in cricket, but then the the probability of him scoring a century is way less. More or
uh,
less, he's going to have one more
Rohit
one
Sharma
digit
combination
score.
of, yeah, whatever I have seen in this Rahul Dravid Rohit Sharma combination, I don't see them dropping Gill in the next one, especially after he has scored a zero in the second innings of the
Yeah,
first test.
especially when he scored a 0. But yeah, we didn't mention that they'll give him 2 test matches. But either ways, we look at Shreyas Iyer's performance in the recent past as well. 10 innings, 131 runs, amazing 14.55 average, highest of 35. There was a time when 35 average was such a bad thing to have at number 5 when you had Ganguly and Lakshman batting there. Now you have a guy with a highest score of 35 and average of 14. I don't know if Shreyas Iyer is a top order bat or a
To be fair to
number 8.
Shreyas Iyer, that 35 came in the last test.
Yeah. Patrick Cummins has been striking better, or even Sinclair and Shamar Joseph has been having a better batting average. So unfortunately
Nathan
for
Lyon, I think,
Shreyas,
has a better average in recent times.
I just saw one of
oh,
the
I think
videos in
what
surface
something
of
very interesting
Shreyas
about
Iyer where
Nathan
he was
Lyon.
playing in that turf. No, I think he can bat there more often.
Yeah, I think you probably. I mean, I probably feel there are a few people missing in the in the grandstands who are not come to watch Shreyas Iyer play, and that's why he's reserving his best performance for
No, we're
those
not
kind of
going there.
matches.
Please, that's very, very, very weird.
See,
I
I'm talking
think
about
Jaren,
I'm
to be
talking about
fair,
his love
Yuzvendra
for.
Chahal is not even in the consideration for the test
Guys,
team. So I
no,
don't
no,
I
know.
no,
never
we're not
mentioned the
going there.
name. I never
This is
mentioned the
not
name.
the point.
I'm talking about Chahal.
I never
Don't,
mentioned
I
the
thought
name.
you were
don't
asking.
bring it away.
I thought you were talking about Chahal coming into the stands and
No, I was
supporting.
talking about people, like people that he wants to impress.
Okay,
The selectors, obviously.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The point is, do you guys see what are the changes you see in the 11 in the next match? Sandeepani, I'm explaining Rajat Patidar and Sarfraz. Sarfraz, though, 100% because he's someone who can sweep. He's got
Yeah,
a 360-degree game, and you need a player who's confident. And Kuldeep Yadav to come in because I think you need a little bit of variety in the bowling, which India lacked. I thought India was slightly one-dimensional as well. If depending on the pitch, if it's a rank turner, complete runner where you're not seeing a second fast ball is used, you can play four spinners, Kuldeep Yadav and Saurabh Kumar to make. But I don't see three debutants in a team. That's a lot. I mean, that
yeah.
means we have clicked the panic button quite a lot. It's not
No, no,
somewhere we're
no.
playing.
Exactly.
But
No, I
I
think
think Saurabh Kumar is not a bad option, guys, because he can be a like-to-like replacement for for Jadeja. I mean, Washington Sundar is not a bad idea, but then you've already got an off spinner in Ashwin. Ashwin can bat as well. And Saurabh Kumar being a left-arm spinner, he's done amazingly well in
Yeah,
Ranji Trophy. He balls in a very similar way than
yeah.
like what Jadeja balls.
And bat as
Obviously,
well.
not comparing the skill levels yet, but he could be the future of India in that
yeah.
role that Jadeja has played,
I think
and
he's
But
from
he's
I
showing
29, 30.
feel
this.
So I don't think he's the future of India. Either way, he's a good option.
I think he's another
I
player
feel
that does not excite Abel, to be honest.
underline on could be.
No, it does
Yeah, come
excite
on.
me. For me, if you give
Yeah,
me an
he
option,
should.
I'd have Saurabh Kumar over Kuldeep Yadav because he can add that value with the bat as well. And he's got
Yeah.
so much of experience in red ball cricket than Kuldeep Yadav at the point. So that's what I
That
look into.
that is a fair estimation, but according to me, I feel that India will still stick to experience, and I see only two changes coming in. Jadeja will be replaced by Kuldeep Yadav, and I feel KL Rahul is going to be replaced by Sarfaraz Khan or
Rahul,
Rajat Patidar. I don't know.
Rajat Patidar, one of
They
them.
can even go in with a Rajat Patidar from
I'm
whatever
also
I.
expecting that. But in the third test match, if Bharat doesn't succeed, I'd like to see Dhruv Jurel also come in. So this has been such a
But
bad
I think
series already,
to be
man.
fair,
We're talking about
Bharat
replacements.
did have a good game. Bharat did score some
Yes, but it
40
Yeah,
odd
doesn't give
runs.
me that solidity as a wicketkeeper
doesn't
batter.
excite you.
Yeah, it doesn't excite me at all. So,
You have to
uh,
wait another 3 4 months for your excitement to kick in. I think once Rishabh Pant is back, I think.
I mean, unfortunately, if you look, the wicketkeeper batter has been catalyst in us winning few
Yeah,
test series away from home.
Yeah.
So I think
And
that
I
is
as
think
something.
it
if
should
there's
be.
one player we really missed in that
And if you
first
look,
test
the
match
last
was
series
Rishabh
against
Pant.
England, Rishabh Pant was so important in that role.
And I
He
think
scored that 100 in
not just
Ahmedabad.
for India. I think this has been a trend in recent times. The wicketkeeper needs to bat well as well. You
Yeah,
talk about the recent test as well. We are talk all the credit is going to Joshua, and rightly so.
yeah,
But I think Joshua De Silva, the partnership that he had with Hodge
yeah.
after West Indies was 63 for 5 on the first day, or in the first innings, to get them to 300 odd runs, that 150 170 runs partnership between Joshua De Silva, who is a wicketkeeper, and Hodge was
Yeah,
priceless for West Indies at
absolutely.
that point.
I think
And we
wicketkeeper batter
are
is
in
such
that
an
age where,
important trait.
yeah, exactly.
Important
And Ben
position.
Fox as well, coming in,
Yeah,
putting in a stand of 110 odd runs
yeah,
with Ollie Pope
yeah,
was the deciding factor. We have seen
absolutely.
innings from Alex Carey making the difference in the
Mm.
past.
Yeah,
Rishabh Pant has been one of the
yeah,
most, I mean, one of the better
truly,
wicketkeeper
truly. Yeah.
batsmen in the last decade or so. So yeah, the influence of wicketkeepers is getting more and more important,
More
and
and
that is
more.
why
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a Dhruv Jurel in for Bharat, but I feel
But
that
not in
there,
next test match. In third test match, if Bharat fails in this test match.
yeah,
And
fair
because
enough.
Bharat is not a good man with the DRS as well. I think that's about it from us. I mean, we'll be back these coming days as well with more information. And the next test match is a few days away. So we'll be back very soon. Thank you all for joining. Have a good night, all of
We'll
you, and
also need
happy
a couple of
30th.
days to digest this loss. I
Yeah,
mean, now we
that's
are,
a win from yesterday.
we are me and Jaden. We are also like RCB fans right now. For being an Indian cricket fan
Yeah.
right now is similar to being an RCB fan.
I
You
think
get
you really have
motivated
to feel
to watch.
bad for those who are RCB
I
fans
think I'll
and
end
RCB
this
India
fans, yeah.
right here. We don't want to deliberate on that.
fans.